I'm gonna be real. I didn't upload because I took a nap and never woke up. No intro, no real editing for real. Yeah, today we're watching the lore of every Die of Death character. If you're wondering why I'm doing this, because I be playing Die of Death and Roblox and video games over on this channel. I'm not consistent, but I do stream on Twitch. So I'm going to do a stream on YouTube as well. So this is where I'll be streaming. If you guys are wondering. So yeah, either way, let's get into it. I actually know nothing about these killers. I even talk about it in my first time playing the game. Like, where's the lore? What is the lore of all these characters? So we're gonna learn today.
What is the lore of the killers in Die of Death? You might be surprised to learn not all of them actually want to kill you. Maybe
Yeah, you could have fooled me, buddy.
they're afraid of
Also, I heard a lot of y'all telling me that Harken is a girl. How?
something else. Or maybe they're just running from their own past mistakes. If you didn't know, Die of Death is a world where you play as a civilian being targeted by various killers who basically want to stop you from reaching safety in a government bunker. But why? Why these particular monsters? Well, let's first look at Artful. Artful is a French magician who's had a deep connection to magic.
Artful, by the way, to me, probably got the best pure design. Like, no skins, just base skin. Like, that skin hard, bro.
Let's first look at Artful. Artful is a French magician who's had a deep connection to magic since birth and was a popular celebrity before his quote-unquote incident.
What
After
incident?
just one of his performances went particularly badly, Artful let his emotions get the better of him and resorted to taking out his frustrations on his entire audience.
What?
If you look at his killer
sound
intro,
crazy.
you can actually see what happened at his performance, with him being humiliated probably in front of
I've
hundreds
actually
of
never played versus the Artful, so.
people. And if we look into his abilities, we can actually find out what happened after. So looking at his abilities, we can see how there's swing, implement, copyright, and repurpose. Now the first three are kind of just related to him being a magician, but the last one is really interesting. Artful quickly pauses and reaches forward with his wand, pocketing whatever he hits. But that's not it. If you look even closer, his icon reveals more clues. There's a music box, which is one of his abilities. There's a wall, which is another one of them. But then there's a person. Does this mean he can literally throw anyone he wants into his magic bag? Apparently, yes. Pocketing a civilian allows Artful to create a puppet. Is that what he did to his audience that day? Turned them all into puppets out of anger? Interestingly, what we see in-game with him being the killer is actually just the aftermath of that performance, with him seeking revenge on you, the player, to get rid of any evidence of his crime. But before we move on to the next killer, I want to make sure you know one more thing about Artful. So besides being French, Artful is also bald.
What?
Yeah.
How do you what?
But I should note, not every killer in Die of Death has an in-depth reason for why they kill. Some just do it for the love of the game. Pursuer.
So my whole thing is like, so they're not stuck in like no dimension or nothing. They're just out here in the world killing people. Okay.
For example, is a dangerous apex predator of unknown origin. Its hunting abilities are unmatched. By the time you hear its howl far in the distance, it's already too late. But what makes Pursuer the most horrifying killer so far is the fact he doesn't just hunt these survivors down.
Yeah, bro.
He them afterwards.
Wait, for real?
Fresh meat.
Wait, how do we know that?
He can go completely invisible. Definitely gonna have to check that one off the list. But that's not where his story ends. Pulling up the Forsaken wiki, we find out the government of Robloxia, the same one that built the secret bunker I mentioned in the intro, may have been the one that discovered and released the Pursuer. Now, the wiki could have been written by anyone. I can't just take it at face value. Wait, look at his abilities. The subtext underneath swing says, its claws were like razors. It tore through like he was paper. Is this a personal account? This man watched his friend in front of him be murdered. Maybe his next ability, Cleave, will reveal more info. As soon as it got its hands on that sword, it seemed like it was second nature. Now, what about Howl and Stomp?
I mean, do you see his face? You see how he look? Of course it's second nature, bro. Ain't nobody love that face. So naturally.
Piercing wail. Nothing dare make any sound to contest its
Bro,
call.
be honest, bro. None of y'all ever thought about giving Pursuer a hug or showing him any kind of gratitude outside of slaughtering people in the game. That's just what it is. Let's not sit here and pretend like.
I still remember it vividly, feeling of it breathing down my neck. Yet, I couldn't see it. Honestly, it sounds like he's being asked questions, like as if it was their first encounter with the creature.
You like
Is this
Deadpool?
person a part of that first group? Maybe in the future we'll actually get to know who this is. but that's where the trail runs cold for Pursuer. Now it's time for killer number 3. Badware originated as a small computer virus infecting and destroying smaller machines. The government of the country where Die of Death takes place in decided to try and capture him. Seeing the virus's potential, they built a robotic body for the virus to infect, hoping to bait, trap, and fully control Badware.
Hold on, go back.
Die of Death takes place in, decided to try and capture him. Seeing the virus's potential, they built a robotic body for the virus to infect, hoping to bait, trap, and fully control Badware. Surprisingly, Badware actually fell for the bait and took over the prototype body. But unluckily, the government failed to realize they'd left some pretty big weaknesses in the body software, allowing Badware to fully take over his host and escape.
And now he got a physical body.
Gameplay. For number 1, you can place down computers literally anywhere on the map, and then you can straight up infect them by just clicking on them and boom!
And then teleport to them and explode.
Destroy the computer.
But don't they give you speed
Sure
boost?
this was intentional, but Badware is the hardest killer to play as in-game. His rough and broken prototype body being...
Yeah, he's, from what I understand and what I've seen in my experience, bro, he's one of them killers you got, like, over time. Like, you're not going to win the game in, like, 2 minutes, bro. Like, you're going to win the game with 1 minute, 1:30 left on the clock, 30 seconds left on the clock, because it take a while to really set up what you need to do with him. At least from what I've seen, or good gameplay, so yeah.
Barely able to catch up to any survivors. That's why you need to very strategically place computers around the map. Also, fun fact, one of Badware's skins called Loveware is based off the I Love You virus, a virus which caused around $8.7 billion in damages in the year 2000. Yet, somehow Badware never decided to infect his biggest and most dangerous target, Kildroid. Kildroid, rather than being a virus, was created as a protection.
He's just a robot
Designed to guard important buildings.
Yeah, he
and
just murder people.
With rockets, a jetpack, and mines. Kildroid was the
That's really a glorified Robloxian Boba Fett.
perfect robot, following every order he received to the T, but maybe just a little bit too perfect. See, one day Kildroid was tasked with the confusing order: kill all criminals in Robloxia. Kildroid, being the robot who always followed orders to the T, concluded that the only way to make sure he killed all the criminals in Robloxia was to kill everyone. But here's what's weird. Kildroid never runs out of ammo or bombs. Why, you might ask? Well, apparently, because Badware actually hacked computers that would resupply him. He couldn't hack Kildroid, so he ended up using him as an ally, ending any progress on stopping Kildroid. Harken.
Jeez.
So Harken is the last and
So that's
most
a
interesting
girl,
killer in this
right?
game. Rather than a machine like the last two, Harken is actually a being from another dimension. One filled with creatures called constructs, made of various types of
that's
matter.
fire.
Imagine dirt, mud, stone, all
That's
types
fire.
of elements. But the bigger the construct, the louder and more deadlier it is. And I mean, they could get big as mountains. That's why when the government, again, decided they wanted to access those powers hidden inside a construct, they kidnapped Harken, one of the weakest constructs they could find, primarily being made out of sand and packed dust, eventually hoping to reverse engineer her powers for some insane weapons.
So it is a girl.
But during her transport, they made just a little bit too much noise for her, scaring Harken to the point of enragement. He then proceeded to break out of her cell and kill every scientist around her to silence them, in fear that the larger
Yeah, if you
constructs
move,
would
you
hurt
die.
her. Then running off like all the other killers, wreaking havoc on the people of Robloxia in order to silence them. But if you thought I was done talking about Harken, I'm not even close, because we gotta look at her abilities. She has Swing, Agitation, Tangle, and Immolate. But Tangle and Immolate have some interesting subtext. For Tangle, it says, brings me back to the days of fishing with Pop. Did she have a father figure?
Ooh, so wait, the killers are also running away from that? I never knew that.
Yet, this is what it looks like in-game. Yeah, not so gentle after all. Is what she's for all
That's
the
that. He's just stupid.
killers in the game. Remember, Die of Death is still pretty early in development, so there's a lot more questions than answers right now. If you guys like this video, make sure you subscribe and watch one of my other ones on this channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
That is interesting. Okay, well, I have a much clearer picture of what this is. Yeah, I can't wait for more. I mean, let me know what you guys want me to down below in the comments. Like I said, bro, bad day for me, but still keep it pushing, man. Y'all boys have a good rest of y'all night. Peace out.